Every once in a while, a film comes along out of nowhere. A film that maybe you didn't really care to see, you saw the previews for, you heard all the good word about it, but still you just thought, maybe this is just not a film for me. I just don't see it. I have no desire to see this film. That film that has recently been the case for me is this film right here, Whiplash. I always remember all the build up for the Oscars in 2014, hearing all the great stuff about this film. And I've been a musician my whole life, playing bass, playing different instruments, doing electronic music. And even that, this film just it wasn't appealing to me. And I think the reason why is I always wrote this film off as being Oscar fluff. This being a film that's pandering to the Oscar crowd, and just it would be a dry film, a boring film, because a lot of times films, especially when they get Oscar praise, that just does nothing for me. If it's a film that doesn't look interesting to me, I don't care how many awards or recognition it gets, I just won't watch it. And honestly, that's how this film was for me, which, like I said, it's kind of strange because I do play music, and it's you would think this would be something I would want to see, but disregard it as Oscar fluff. This year, guy at work let me borrow the film. He doesn't talk a lot highly about a lot of films, and he kept talking about how intense this was. I didn't ask to borrow it. He just brought it in one day and he was like, "Here, man, check it out." I sat on this film for a long time. I mean, I probably had his copy for over a month. I was actually, when I made this shelf, I was moving stuff around here in the room, and I found it again. I was like, "Oh crap, man, I need to watch this." So I watched it. Guys, this film is absolutely spectacular. This film threw me for a loop. It was not at all what I was expecting. When it started off, Miles Teller plays a kid that's going to this prestigious music school. He starts off in like the B grade class. He's playing drums, and J.K. Simmons is like the top dog at this school. He's the class everybody wants to get into, and Miles Teller's playing, and eventually he gets into J.K. Simmons' class, and I thought it was going to be very predictable. It was starting off good. I was interested in what was going on, but I thought it was going to be very predictable what was going to happen. But then he gets in there, and J.K. Simmons is just super intense, man. I mean, very intense. Like, the things I was thinking watching this film is J.K. Simmons is basically like Arlie Ermy in Full Metal Jacket. This is basically like Full Metal Jacket, but in a music room. And it's funny because after I seen the film, I saw that same comparison in other places because it's so easy to see. That's really what this is, and it's just so intense, and it's so well shot, and the acting between Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons is just phenomenal. Their psychological back and forth in this film, how they totally just mess with each other back, and it's a psychological tug of war type film. This film it goes beyond having a passion. It gets to an unhealthy obsession for Miles Teller to where it affects everything in his life. It is his sole drive from the time he gets up to the time he goes to sleep. He plays drums until his hands literally bleed, and he bleeds all over the drum set until he almost passes out. And just the things that he goes through to try to impress J.K. Simmons, and every time you think he's going to get there, J.K. Simmons pulls back and is like, "Nope, you got to go this far." And then he gets that far, then he pulls back, "You got to go this far." And it's just really, really great. Like, it was totally unpredictable. I did not, the ways I thought it was going to go, it didn't. And the things that ended up happening, it wasn't at all what I expected. And it just kept building in intensity. In the final 20 minutes of this film is just some of the most intense scenes I have seen in a long time in any film. It's excellent. I think it really speaks volumes about musicianship also, and about, how nowadays, real true musicians that live for music, totally live for music, is few and far between. There's so many distractions and different things, and people have different motivations. You don't get artists like that anymore. Like the artist that they talk about in this film, the Buddy Rich, the Charlie Parkers of the world, the true jazz musicians, and I would add in, like John Coltrane and Miles Davis and stuff like that. That is what this film deals with. It's driving people to be way beyond a musician what they could possibly be. But it's not just that. It's not just, being the musicianship. This is definitely, it's a psychological film. It's, like I said, a psychological tug of war. And, you don't have to be into music to like this film. I don't think so at all. I mean, it definitely, if you play music, you are definitely going to love this film. But I don't think that's the only types of people that are going to enjoy this. Just if you enjoy psychological films and films that it's just so intense, man. The back and forth between the two characters and how they're just constantly messing with each other. This is a fantastic film, guys. I cannot express how much I loved this film, and I see why J.K. Simmons got the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in this film. He completely deserved it. I mean, completely. The real shame is that this film did not get Best Picture that year. I mean, it's, in my opinion, I think it definitely deserves it. This is one of the better films that I have seen of this decade, guys. I'm going to easily give this film, I'm going to say probably a 9.5 out of 10. It could probably be a 10 out of 10. I mean, just put it this way, guys. I watched my friend's copy. I went out, well, it wasn't the next day, but 2 days later, picked this up at Best Buy. I had to have it. I was like, man, this is a film I have to have in my collection. I just loved it that much, and actually just got done watching it a second time. And I want to watch it a third time, too, because they have a commentary on here with the director and J.K. Simmons. I definitely want to see that. But it also includes the short film that was made that, is how they got this one funded. And it does have J.K. Simmons in it. Miles Teller's not in it. It's got another guy in it. It's actually a guy that's in Scott Pilgrim. I can't think of his name right now. One of the smaller roles from Scott Pilgrim. The guy that wants to be in the band, but he can't get in the band, in Scott Pilgrim, if you know who that is. But anyway, that short film is on here. It's a 17-minute long film. I did watch that. It's really cool. Basically, all the scenes that are in that short film end up being in this also. But guys, I recommend this film just if you love really good films, really well-made films with just intense acting, great psychological warfare. Just a film that it's an unhealthy obsession that the characters have in this, but it's also at the same time, this film is inspiring to me. It's inspiring to go beyond, look at your life, what you want, what you desire to be, or what you desire to do, and just have that drive and determination to go take it a step further than what you even think you can possibly do. That's why this is inspiring me. I think it's an aspiring film too. I mean, not to get to the unhealthy levels of this, but it is also, it can be looked at as an aspiring film, which I certainly think it is. So guys, Whiplash, it's been out for a long time, but I wanted to do this video to hopefully inspire people to check this film out who maybe pushed it aside like I did, just thought, man, that's not going to really be for me. Because I found out since I watched it, there's been several people that have said the same thing. Like a lot of people on Instagram popped up and was like, man, I thought the same thing and I didn't think it would be anything that I wanted to see. And I watched it and it was like, wow, I mean, that's how I was. And I think some of you guys that watch this channel would definitely be that way as well. So guys, that's Whiplash. You can pick up this Blu-ray at Best Buy for $10. I think it's certainly well worth it. But if you don't want to buy it, rent it, stream it, whatever you got to do, check it out. And if you have seen it, or if you do end up checking it out, come back, comment below, and let me know what you think about this film, guys. I would love to hear you guys' opinion on Whiplash. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Later.